Like, what is this? Welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited about today's video. I know I'm looking a little bit crazy, but we are going to be doing a tutorial and a review, pros, cons, everything on the new Makeup Forever Let's Gold palette. This palette just came out. I think some JCPenney stores actually had it like a few weeks ago and they were putting it for sale. I'm not sure, but it just came out on Sephora.com, so I went ahead and picked it up. I've really been thinking a lot lately and trying to get back on my normal schedule, and I have just come up with the conclusion that I want to get back to more reviews. That's really how I started here on YouTube. I reviewed all the new collections and gave you guys pros and cons and just like my overall thoughts on new palettes and launches and collections, and I'm so fortunate to get a lot of stuff in PR, and I really want to get back to doing that. I will be doing hauls, but just know reviews are coming, and I'm definitely going to be strict about getting them posted. My typical upload schedule is Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I might throw in some extra videos here and there. My boyfriend who edits my videos is probably like, throw in some here and there. But anyways, so we're going to be testing out this palette. I have been using this for the past like 4 or 5 days, so I do have an overall opinion of it. Here's what it looks like. And yeah, so let's go ahead and dive in. Before we start, make sure to click the subscribe button and the bell notification so you're actually notified when those videos go live. My 4-year anniversary on YouTube is in like 2 months. Yeah, 2 months. And you guys, I am planning the biggest giveaway ever. I think I'm going to do 4 winners. So I'm going to take this next month to really try out a lot of products because I want to get you guys some really good stuff. But okay, enough rambling or I'll be here all day. Let's dive in. Okay, well, it's not loading. So here's the palette online. So it retails for $45. You get, okay, I'm like, does it just tell me? 18 eyeshadows in this palette. It says this is a limited edition palette. Here's the packaging. Featuring a pro quality buildable shadow formula in 18 earth tone shades with matte, metal, and chrome finishes. So I will say, as far as Makeup Forever palettes goes, this one to me is very neutral from what I am used to seeing from Makeup Forever. I feel like a lot of times they are like bold and bright and just, you know, they get kind of crazy with it. So this to me is like a very neutral palette. And I have some pros, I have some cons. They do also include this little packet right here. I haven't even opened this up, so we will do that right now. Don't worry, I tested the shadows. I just have not opened this up. Okay, let's look at this one. So it says, Let's Gold Makeup Forever. And it actually came with 3. It says, what is this? I don't know why they have these little like holes in it. Oh my gosh, this is so neat. Okay, so it has a step-by-step of how the person got the look. This is really cool. I haven't seen a brand do this before. And basically, it has little holes in it. It says, place me on your palette and discover the shades used to create this look. So what you do is you actually hold this over the palette and you have your looks. That is so neat. I don't know why I'm so excited about this, but I am. So that's really cool when it comes with 3 different looks and step-by-steps. I do love when brands include things like this because it is good for like inspiration. Let me zoom you in. Oh, whew, shook that camera. Okay, so getting back to reviews, I'm not sure the actual style that I'm going to do as far as if I'm going to start and do a tutorial or leave it at the end. But today, we're putting it at the beginning. So here's the palette in all of its glory. It says Let's Gold on the front. Has the beautiful Makeup Forever symbol. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but it basically has these like little triangles all over it. So when you open it up, you get this really nice mirror. It says Makeup Forever, Let's Gold. Here are the shades up close and personal. As you can see, the mattes are at the very top. And these are very neutral tone palettes, so great color choice for every day. Now, I typically, as you guys know if you've watched my channel for a while, I always use MAC Painterly Paint Pot on my eyelids. This past week or so, I've been actually using, which it is creasing because I've had this on for quite a bit, but I've actually been using a concealer, the Huda Beauty concealer. It typically isn't creasing because I normally go straight in. But here's what we are going to do. So first, I'm going to go in and I'm going to put down the shade Soil, which is right here. And these colors are pigmented, but they're not like so crazy where it's like too much. You can definitely build them up if you want more color payoff. So I'm really just going back and forth with this color and then buffing it out. Now they do have like a green in here and a darker. I almost wish they would have put a little bit more matte shades in here, but whew, huh, look at that. Went in a little bit heavy there, huh? Okay, so just, yeah, back and forth. And I'm probably going to have to deepen up the other side since I went in a little bit heavy-handed on this eye. I was doing really good, light-handed. That's okay. I feel like I almost need to switch up my brush because this one's a little bit stiff. Yeah, let me do that. This is actually a Makeup Forever brush. So this is the 242. So yeah, I'm just going to go in here with a clean brush and just make sure everything is blended and buffed out on the eyes. This side is still a little bit darker, so I'm going to take just a tad bit more of soil. And like, you do have to be, like I said, they are very blendable. And if you go in light-handed, you definitely can build them up. They're buildable and blendable. But if you go in too heavy-handed, like you have seen me do twice, you know, just be prepared to blend out because you can go in a little bit too much. And I think what's messing me up is I always have like a bigger mirror in front of me, and I'm actually using this one that comes with the palette. I mean, it's a great mirror, but you know, I'm just used to seeing a lot more. Next, we're going to go in with this shade Hot Shot. I actually like to go ahead and put down the brow bone highlight just so I can distinguish how far up I want the lid shade. As you can see, that shade's really pretty and it's super shimmery. And there's no doubt about it, Makeup Forever definitely has beautiful eyeshadows. Okay, so here's what we have so far. Next, we are going to take the shade Wealthy, which is the next brown shade over. And I'm just going to concentrate that into my crease. And I'm going to go in with a fluffy brush. I'm going to get a little bit on here. I'm going to concentrate on my crease in my outer corner. And what I've found with this palette is it's really easy. Like I know I said it doesn't come with a lot of, this is too big, a lot of matte shades. But what I've found is that it comes with enough where you can do a look really easily and like you don't need a ton. I keep grabbing the wrong brush. So yeah, I'm just keeping that outer corner a little bit darker. Then I'll bring it a little bit down here. But see how pretty that color is? I just am not bringing this too far up. They look very blended and I feel like they're easy to blend, and that's really important because sometimes I can get eyeshadows that end up being a little bit choppy, and you know, when I'm in a hurry especially, I don't like to take all day long to blend out my eyeshadows. And so I do love a formula that's going to be really easy to blend where you don't have to put like a ton of effort in. And that's typically what I get out of Makeup Forever eyeshadows. I really wish they would come out with more palettes because it's been so long, I feel like, since they actually came out with a palette. So even though I wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is like the palette I have to have, you know, because it is very neutral, I was really excited to see them coming out with a palette. All right, so we have that down. Typically what I will do next is go in with a little bit of Lavish. I'm gonna just take the same brush, get it all up on here. There's not a ton of fallout, as you can see. Like I have on a full face of makeup. I'm not having to wipe any of this away. And you see, the shade goes on really nice. Y'all, I cannot take this anymore. I love using a big old makeup mirror. So let me just go ahead and put it out. Okay, much, much, much better. We're also going to go back in to the Wealthy shade and Soul and mix those together. Run that underneath the lower lash line. And then I'm going to go in with Lavish, again, that purple shade. Concentrate this right underneath. And I feel like, oh my gosh, I wore my glasses all day today and I literally still have lines on my nose where I wore them. Okay, so that's done. Now we're going to go in and do the lid shade. Now, you could use any shade in this palette and I feel like it would still look really pretty. But I'm just going to go in with Jewelry, which is like a really pretty light pink shade. Because this for me would be a look that you could wear every day. Now see, this, if you just go in just with a brush, it's nothing like, I don't want to say shocking, but you see what I'm saying? Like it's like shows up, but it's nothing where you're like, oh my gosh, this shade is so great. I'm also going to go in with Molten because that's right under it. I'm going to get a little bit more of that. And that color actually looks a lot better. So here is that on the eyes. And then lastly, I'm just going to go back in a little bit with that purple shade to kind of just darken up the edges. So here's this. I'm going to go put lashes liner and I'll be back. Okay, so this is my finished eyeshadow look. Very simple, easy. Like I literally only used 5 shades. So I had the light color, the darker brown, the purple, a brow bone highlight, and a lid shade. So very simple and easy. Okay, let's go through some swatches. I haven't actually swatched this whole palette, nor have I used every shade, but I do feel like I have a good gist because I've been using it, like I said, for a couple days this week. So let's start with the top row. So the top row is actually going to be mattes. So here are the first 4 shades, and then there they are swatched on the hand. And then we have the very last 2. And then here are the last 2 right there. Okay, now on to the shimmers. So there are the first 4 shades swatched. These look really pretty. So there they are swatched on the hand. I like to swatch these on your fingers. Okay, and then there those 2 are swatched. Okay, and then very last row right here. So there are those shades. And these are the very last 2. So there are those swatched on the hand. Okay, so I went and grabbed some of my older Makeup Forever shadows because when I first found out about Makeup Forever shadows, I went absolutely crazy. I remember it was like a Sephora sale. I swatched them in store, I used them at home, and I was so obsessed. I went back and got so many more. I have like palettes and palettes and palettes of these. So this is kind of what I'm like almost comparing this to, because, you know, Makeup Forever was like my love for shadows. So I want to like, you know, grab a couple swatches for you. I need to keep using these. Now that I'm like swatching them and stuff, I'm like, dang, you know, we'll swatch the purple shade, and then I'll swatch like almost a similar type green, which would be like right here. Here are those swatched right there. And I want to swatch that similar green next to these just so we can kind of compare. Okay, so I think this would be a fair comparison with that other green. Okay, so there's that, and here's that one. Let me just give you guys a close-up. It kind of looks like almost blurry because of where I swatched them, and it was like, okay, so my whole point in that is kind of just to see if I can show y'all side by side. Like, here's 2 of the old shadows. Sorry, I want to do this one more time. And here is 2 of the new. So I want to kind of like show it to you guys. So I feel like these older shades are a little bit more buttery than the new ones. Okay, so let's start with pros and cons. I always like to start out on a positive note. So pros of this palette. You do get 18 shades. I feel like that's a pretty good amount. As far as eyeshadows go, this, I like spit everywhere. Anyways, this is not like a very large palette, so I feel like it'd be very travel friendly. It comes in a nice sturdy case, so I feel like if you drop it, even though I wouldn't recommend dropping it, I feel like it'd probably be okay. You do have a nice mirror in here as well, and you do have a mix of mattes and shimmer shades. Now, from my experience, the eyeshadows are super blendable. Every day that I've did a look, I kind of like look in the mirror, I'm like, dang, your eyeshadow looks very seamless. They last a long time. I wore a shadow the other day, or like an eye look, and I went to work. I probably did my makeup at like 7 a.m. Got home at like 8 o'clock, and the eyeshadow still looked really good. The rest of my makeup, not so much, but the eyeshadow was still looking pretty good. So I really do like that, and I feel like for the mattes, the just blendability makes it really easy, especially if you're a beginner. And this would be a really nice neutral palette to have for like somebody that needs something every single day for work, and you want to get a nice variety of different shimmer shades, and you know, dive into like some green and stuff like that. So you do have like a variety of colors, and it's not anything crazy. Okay, as far as the cons go, this is a $45 palette, and I feel like there's so many companies nowadays that are coming out with these palettes, like ColourPop. Like some of their palettes, they just actually sent me one. It's like a $12 palette. It has 9 shadows, and it is bomb. So to get 18, you could get 2 of those palettes for 24 bucks compared to this for 45. I also feel like this is not the same Makeup Forever formula that I'm used to. I love Makeup Forever, and when I first used their like single pan eyeshadows back in the day, I went ham. I bought so many, like I literally have stacks on stacks on stacks of Makeup Forever eyeshadows, and I feel like, not that this formula is bad, but I just don't feel like it's the formula that I'm used to. The shimmer shades, they're pretty, but they're not shimmer shades that like take my breath away. That's what I want. Like if I'm going to spend money on a palette nowadays, like I want it to shock me when I put it on my eyelid. Like I want to do one swipe and be like, dang girl, that is a lid shade. And as you can see in the tutorial, like the jewelry shade, it did not do that. And I had to put it on a couple times, and the pigment still was not there. So I feel like even though the mattes are good in this palette, The shimmer shades, like, they're nice, but they're not special. Like, I don't know how to say that. I'm trying to say it nicely, but it's nothing that I feel like is unique in a formula. And again, there's great pros to this palette, but when I have to look at the shimmer shades, to me, but the shimmers, they're, like I said, they're good quality, but they're not something that I don't think you could find in a less expensive palette, if that makes sense. Like, they look nice on the eyes, and I'm kind of like all over the place with this review because I'm trying to put this nicely. You guys know I always like to be like as nice as I can when I say this, but like, to me, this look is okay. But like the lid shade, I've been used to lately, like using glitters and, you know, using like really pigmented, like almost pressed pigment eyeshadows. And these to me are just like, oh, kind of like, to me, even though it's a shimmer, like I might as well put like a matte shade because it's not like drawing attention to my lid. So that's what I have to say for that. If you want my honest opinion, $45, is it worth it? If you want looks that are just going to be like everyday basic looks, I think you would be able to get this with this palette. Yes, some of the shimmer shades you are going to have to build up a little bit. The creaminess of the shadow in the shimmers is just not as creamy as what I'm used to from Makeup Forever. So do I think it'd be a nice everyday palette? Yes, but would I personally spend $45 on it? No. I would definitely say pass on this one. I love Makeup Forever. Again, they have so many great options in their line, but this one to me is just something I feel like it's not something that you have to have. I will keep it in my collection because, I mean, I purchased it and everything, but yeah, I would say pass for now. So let me know what your thoughts are down below. Like I said, this is like my first review getting back into reviews, but let me know what you want to see down below. And let me know if you plan on checking this out. I looked up the reviews online and a lot of people were really positive, but for me, I've just tried out so many eyeshadows that right now I'm really looking for things that are going to be like, holy cow, that is amazing. Like, every time they come out with something, I'm going to have to pick it up. And that's normally how I am with Makeup Forever. So this for me was just a pass, but let me know down below. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Sorry I'm all over the place. And I love you. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.